What is up, guys? This is a One ROM Fire, and it is going to be the solution for all of your emulation and chip needs. This single One ROM Fire is a direct fit for our ECUs. It is a 28-pin configuration. This one's set up with Hondata style pins to plug into a Hondata styled ECU, or if it was configured for a Snake EMU or something like that. Anyways, yeah, today we are going to be going over why we use One ROM, what it looks like in an ECU, and how to set it up with the Alpha emulator firmware to run this thing as a real-time emulator. So no more chip burning, no more chips, and no more buying overpriced emulators. Welcome to the world of open source. And yeah, this is what it looks like in its natural habitat. This is the way that real-time chip tuning is going to be done in 2026. Minimal real estate. In USB-C. I like that. Alright, let's get this One ROM, let's load some firmware on this thing, and get it turned into an emulator. Whenever I get a new device or component, I always like to treat it with a brand new cable. So go ahead and get you guys a brand new Type-C cable to make sure that you have a user-friendly experience. You will also be needing a breadboard wire or a jumper wire, or even a paper clip for this next phase. Okay, so now we need to get our One ROM Fire, and we need to put this thing into DFU mode so that we can go ahead and get the firmware flashed over to it. So the boot pin is right here on the top in the middle, and the ground pin is going to be right over here. The bottom pin next to our little white corner over here. And it's also neatly written on the back of here. Let's see if I can get this to focus. You may or may not be able to read that, but each pin is individually labeled here on the bottom of it. So anyways, let's go ahead and do this. Top pin, and then the bottom pin, just like this. This is going to configure the device for DFU mode, which will let us go ahead and actively drop a UF2 on it. Let's go ahead and begin by plugging the USB cable into the One ROM. And you will see that we are booted with a UF2 screen here for our Raspberry Pi device. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Alpha Emu Beta Autosave UF2 file, drop it directly onto the Raspberry Pi. Now we can unplug the Raspberry Pi. We can remove our breadboard jumper, and this thing is now set up as an emulator. So let's go ahead and plug this thing back in. Let's go ahead and open up HTS. Alright, so here we are in HTS. We just need to go into our settings. We need to make sure it is set up for a MOTS Ostrich. Make sure you also select the correct COM port. You can check your device manager to find out what COM port it is, and leave the default baud rate 921/600, and it should be good to go for connectivity because we are emulating a MOTS Ostrich compatibility mode here. Connect. I'm just going to go ahead and download the ROM that's on it. You guys can see it downloads just like a regular emulator. You can also upload just like a regular emulator. You can make individual changes just like an emulator. Download the ROM. It still has those exact changes incorporated into it. So it has everything in it for live updates, live tuning. It works just like a regular emulator. So let's go into the car. Alright, so here we are in car, and I just wanted to show you guys a little side-by-side comparison of One ROM and an old Snake EMU. And you can see the size difference is very significant. This thing is literally a quarter of the size, maybe a fifth of the size of the Snake EMU, the original Snake EMU. So very compact. This is the size of an SST chip. So let's go ahead and get it installed. The USB port should go to the right hand side of the socket. And it has that a small white notch in that front corner that aligns with the bottom left of the pin socket. And you guys can also see here I have an old school FTDI chip setup on here for data logging, which we will discuss momentarily. Let's go ahead and connect our USB. You guys can see we're now connected. Have HTS open. I'm going to show you guys first. So check engine light cycles and clears, not a problem. We're going to come over here, connect to our emulator. I'm going to download the ROM off of it because I'm not sure if this is the exact one I had on here. So we have our ROM on here. Datalog started. Let's make sure we have real-time updates on. They are. And this is our idle section right here. So let's go ahead and pay attention to the air fuels. We're in the 14s right now. Let's add 20%. And as you can see, it made an immediate change. No check engine light. It does do real-time updates. Not a problem. Let's go ahead and decrease. So yeah, let's talk data logging for a minute. The reason we're using an old school FTDI adapter in there is because the One ROM currently doesn't have Datalog built into it. Not because it is incapable of it, and not because I haven't already started the code process for it. The reason for it is quite simple. It is simply because the One ROM is out of 5-volt tolerant pins. We do have 2 additional pins left over, which is perfect for our data logging. The issue with it is the CN2 port on the Honda ECU, just as the EEPROM socket itself, uses a 5-volt logic. And the available pins on that One ROM are only tolerant to 3.3 volts. If we plug something 5 volts into there, 5-volt logic into there, it will actually cause some leakage into the device, which is not good. So I do have a solution for this. I'll go ahead and picture that in the corner. I have these nifty little Datalog adapters, and they will allow us to just shift the voltage from 3.3 to 5 volts for both sides. It's actually not scaling the voltage up to 5 volts when it goes back into the ECU side, but that's because the ECU doesn't need to see a clear 5 volts for a logic high. It only needs to see above 2 point something volts. So 3.3 volts is a logic level 1 high, so we are Gucci like that. So we're just using some level shifters here, as well as a small 3.3 volt regulator on here to generate that power from the 5 volts. So pretty simple solution. Data logging is coming in the near future. As always, please like, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed the little basic walkthrough here. I'm super excited to see people live tuning their cars on these $10 emulators, and you can make them for a few bucks less if you guys produce them yourself. Major shout out to Pierce. Thank you for sending me some free One ROMs to help speed up the process of my development. Shout out to Dylan H. He also mailed me a One ROM that we are planning on doing a giveaway for, so please share the video. Drop in the comments that you'd like a One ROM, and we'll see about getting somebody a free One ROM. And this is basically the end of the chip tuning era. There's no more need for people to buy chips. They're already marked up as is. The replacements are marked up, and they're already using other old chips. As you guys saw, I came up with these 39 SF chips a long time ago that fit in the exact 28-pin socket, even though they're meant for a 32-pin socket. And my burner I made was also coded up to use the protocol to flash directly to these things without an adapter or anything like that. So yeah, it was pretty cool. But these things are obsolete. They were obsolete before I finished and got them on my GitHub for everyone. So yeah, I finished these chip replacements about a year ago, and they're just obsolete, guys, because with the One ROM solution, we now have live updating, and there will be more features slowly rolled into it. This is a beta version I'm releasing, so please let me know if there are bugs. The more you guys contribute, the more we're open on this with communication and people testing it, the more we can get the software dialed in. But as of now, I have no current bugs at this point in time. It works completely fine in Windows. I have not tested it in anything other than Windows 11. You shouldn't need any additional drivers to operate or run this thing. So yeah, it's pretty much a plug and play experience if you're on a Windows 11 machine. Probably similar if you're on a Windows 10. Can't guarantee anything else other and below. It is simply just a Raspberry Pi, so nothing crazy is needed there. But yes, this is the end of chip tuning. This is the end of buying not even high-end. This is the end of buying overpriced emulators. And yeah, now you guys can really see the development cost that goes into these things and seeing how much you've been overcharged in the past for something. So enjoy.